Hello and welcome to Commodity Champions. I'm Manisha Gupta. Well, the pulses, which are key aspect of an Indian diet, have had an unsteady year with prices racing in the past few months. In an effort to control the prices, the government has lifted duty restrictions on yellow peas imports until March 2024. Earlier, yellow peas, which are primarily imported from Canada and Russia, attracted a near 50% duty. Earlier this year, the government also abolished import duties on tur, urad and lentils to meet domestic production requirements. So will these government measures help tame the prices? What else can the government do? To discuss all of this, I am now joined by Bimal Kothari. He's chairman at the India Pulses and Grains Association. Mr. Kothari, hi, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, your first reaction on the duty restriction being removed in sense of yellow peas. We do understand that most of that has been coming in from Canada, where the prices have been on the higher side. How is the industry trade looking at this step of the government?
Thank you, Manisha ji, for inviting me to the show. As you know, this government has lifted the total restriction on the import of yellow peas till 31st March 2024, and the duty has been brought down to nil. So definitely there has been a significant reaction in the market. Most of the pulses we have seen has been, the prices has been coming down because the price of yellow peas in the international market, if you look at our import parity, it comes around 42, 43 rupees, and all the pulses what we have in India are more than 55 rupees. So this is having an impact on the overall pulses block. All the pulses we have seen that since this measure has been announced by the government of India, all the price of most of the pulses has come down, and particularly you can see in chana and tur prices has come down quite a bit, about almost 5 rupees a kilo in tur, and chana also 3-4 rupees a kilo. So if you look at all the pulses in last 15 days, we have seen the downtrend in the pulses market, and in all the major pulses. We can start from tur, which has been tur, and urad, which has been the major concern this year. So tur prices, if you look at tur prices, we have been importing African tur since August, and now we have seen the price of African tur, which was as high as 97, 98 rupees, has come down to 82 to 83 rupees. So there is a sharp correction of about 15 rupees a kilo in last, you can say, 30 days. Again, in urad price, urad also we had since the erratic monsoon, we had a major issue with the urad crop. The price, despite the crop, the price of urad has started going up. But again, now we have seen, because there's a very good crop of urad in Myanmar, and we also expecting some reasonable amount of crop in Rabi season of India. So urad prices, which has also come down by almost 6 to 7 rupees a kilo from its peak level. And if you look at chana, which was rolling around 64, 65 rupees in Delhi, which has come down to 60, 61 rupees. Okay. So overall, we have seen the pulses prices are coming down. The lentils price, which are rolling less than minimum support price. Minimum support price is 60 rupees. Lentils is being sold at 59 rupees. So I don't think there is any concern about the prices now. Okay. Most of the pulses are at a very reasonable and affordable price level. And now we are also going to harvest our crop of tur. Of course, as per the government of India estimate, the tur crop is going to be down by almost 1.2 million tons. Because as per the as per the first advance estimate, the tur crop is going to be about 33 lakh tons, as against our requirement of 45 to 46 lakh tons. So again, we will have to import a large quantity of tur, but unfortunately, tur is not available in large quantities in most of the countries from we are importing. If we take the entire import of entire availability of the tur in the international market, it is about 1 million to 1.2 million tons. Right. So we require about 1.3 million tons. But India, Myanmar has got a good crop of about 4 lakh tons, which they are going to harvest now, and we will start importing from January.
Point taken.
So
I also want to understand, while we of course have seen a correction in prices, my second question really is about the kind of trade relations that we have. As you mentioned, we are importing a lot from the African countries. There are conversations also going on with various other countries. Ethiopia and Tanzania are one. Mozambique and Malawi, we are doing stuff as well. There have been reports on how there's conversations now happening with Brazil as well, on how the pulses as a sector has approached Brazil for various pulses also. What kind of conversations are on? What can Brazil, how do you see Brazil actually getting into this picture?
in fact, we have taken, the IPGA has taken this initiative to grow these pulses, mainly pigeon peas and urad, because you see, urad is, besides India, urad is only being produced in Myanmar. And if you look at the pigeon peas, these are being produced in East African countries, and the production and the whole of the East Africa is about 600 to 700,000 tons, and Myanmar is about 300 to 400,000 tons. So if you look at our consumption is rising, and the one bad season, one bad monsoon can create a lot of change the dynamic of the demand and supply. Yes. So we need to have some regular suppliers, some large suppliers, where, you know, when this kind of situation arises, India can import, India can buy from the overseas market. And we have suggested the government of India to grow these pulses in the countries like Brazil. And in fact, Argentine government also approached us. And they also wanted us to, you know, facilitate this kind of meeting with the government of India to, you know, coordinate with government of India with the research agencies, so that they can also take up the production of lentils, pigeon peas, and black mapek, which we have been regularly importing. And you see, since last 5 years, we have restricted number of pulses, but these 3 pulses have been under OGL for last 2 to 3 years continuously, because we have seen our production is not commensurate with our demand, and every time, for some reason or other, either we have an excess rainfall, or there is no rain, or some drought-like situation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, Mr. Kothari, just a couple of things then. One, I was reading a Niti Aayog report which says that by the time we are in 2029-30, the Indian demand is estimated at 32.5 million tons. How do you look at that, number one? And from these current levels, where do you see the prices going? As you said, there's a lot of correction happening right now, but that is something that the government also wants, looking at the wedding season and, of course, the elections coming in as well. How are you looking at the prices? 2, how do you look at the demand growth going forward?
You see, as far as the demand is concerned, what I understand, in fact, the number what we have got from Consumer Affairs Ministry, India requires about 28 million tons of pulses now. So by 2030, IPGA estimates that we require at least 35 million tons of pulses with the annual growth what we have seen in last few years. And not only that, our incomes are rising, the demand of the food is rising. So in fact, we are not meeting the entire requirement of pulses what we require for the, if you take the per capita consumption, our is going to be much more than what we are producing, and even it is whatever available in the market, world market. So I think India will require a large quantity of pulses, and that is why, of course, it's always good to be self-reliant, and government of India is trying to boost the production, and they have done. In last 5, I must appreciate the efforts taken by the government of India to increase our production from 15-16 million ton to 26-27 million tons in last 6-7 years. But still we require large, because we have a large population to feed. Pulses is the most important staple food for us, because this is the one food which meets our nutritional requirement. So our demand for pulses is definitely going to increase more and more. And 35 million tons, the numbers what I'm getting, this is the minimum number what we will require. So it is important that we should have some sort of a tie-up with the countries like Brazil, Argentina, which they have got large tract of land. They are also indulged in the modern technology of the agriculture. So their output will be much better than the African countries, because they are using all primitive technology. So I think it is for our nutritional security, it is important that we have the relationship with the countries like Brazil, Argentina,
Absolutely.
who can grow these pulses for our economy.
Affordable. Absolutely, Mr. Kothari. Thank you so much for joining us. So, well, one part is clear that the government measures have brought the prices down, but on the other side, the demand is absolutely growing. And as Mr. Kothari mentioned, that 28 million tons now, 35 million tons by 2030 is what India will need in sense of pulses availability there. Well, on that note, it's time for a short break. But when we return, we speak to Simon George of Cargill India on agriculture sector, the market ahead of elections, and of course, Cargill's latest innovations. We'll be right back.